Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Pluribus, the finale, I suppose, the final episode, episode 9. What a strange number to end on, but true. Kyle is pretending to cry, or is that a real cry? You're actually crying. Show's
Pretending?
Over. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it's a real cry. Why are you asking me for?
Wonderful. Anyway, that is Kyle Entertainment. I'm sure if you're listening at this point, you know exactly who we are. We don't need to do the introduction again. We can start with a recap. This one's a little bit long, so I didn't know how to condense it, but here we are. It's also been like a day or two since we watched the episodes, you know, not as quick as the other one, so a recap will be lovely.
True, Leader was slacking. We couldn't record this in a timely fashion.
That is true. Anyway, so we have a cold open with one of the survivors who become part of the hive mind, and then Menounos arrives at Carol's house, and they have an argument about whether they're gonna have the conversation in the ambulance or in Carol's house. And then in that process of that argument, Menounos throws Carol's phone down the drain, and then he apologizes, returns the phone, and they talk outside under an umbrella. And then he searches Carol's house and finds a bug, but turns out Helen put it there. And then Carol wakes up in the middle of the night and goes outside, and Menounos has been talking with Zosha. So then she takes Zosha back to her house, and then Zosha says that she loves them both equally. And then Menounos screams at the hive mind and confirms that the radio signal is related to their hive mind ability. And then the hive mind leaves Menounos, I suppose, and then Carol goes with them and spends some time together. But then it turns out they've been using her eggs to grow stem cells. And then the episode ends with Carol going back with a nuclear bomb to Menounos. So, yep, that's the episode.
Alitery, forget all that shit. We got two important things to talk about. We got to talk about the thing, and we got to talk about the spoilers I've been secretly keeping from you throughout.
Oh my god. Okay, please, go ahead.
So, Alitery, let's start with the boring one first. Well, Alitery, you know, Plex on the thingy I'm watching it on has thumbnails for every episode. So in one episode, it was like episode 5 when she went to Vegas. So I knew that guy was coming back, but I don't think I was forthright in my predictions sometimes, I would say.
All right.
He's probably going to come back, Alitery, and you didn't know. Additionally, episode 9 had, what's her name? I've forgotten already. Carol and Menounos, they were under the umbrella. So I knew they were going to meet at some point, Alitery. So, you know, I was just playing with you with that. And then, in episode 8, it has the thing of them playing that little sport. We've got Carol and Zosha playing the little sport on the field, if you recall.
Yep.
So I knew she was coming back at some point, and she wasn't going to die in that one episode. And you know me, Alitery, I cannot resist looking at the thumbnails. And usually on Netflix, I'll even read the little description for each episode.
Yeah, I know.
But don't worry.
Oh my god.
Netflix is good at not spoiling things. Succession recently, big character died at the beginning of season 4. They made sure to not mention anything about the whole episode is about a funeral, Leadery. That's not what the little thingy said, because they accounted for me. Now, that's impressive.
That's so nice.
They know what's going on out here. You know, that would be really funny if they actually have data that if the description is like more direct, like less people continue to watch the show. That would be funny, and that's probably true. The thing, Alitery, do you think the thing was true?
I know, because wait. I could not possibly know what it is. Like, I've been thinking, like, because you said it's like an episode that, like, something an episode does, or this story does, and I'm like, what is it? Is it like, is it going to be like told in reverse order, or like, is it going to be that we're gonna like have a whole episode just on like one character that's like a side character? Like, I had no idea what you were saying, but what is it?
So throughout these great reviews, we've been teasing that I knew a conceptual thing that an episode did, and it was like, wow, I can't believe that episode did that. It turns out, Alitery, I was just making up. Apparently, it wasn't true at all.
Oh my god!
What I had heard is there was a whole episode where nobody spoke. That was the thing.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
I had heard. And I was like, and I was pretty certain that it wasn't going to be this episode because I knew Carol and Menounos were going to meet, and at least why wouldn't they speak? So I was pretty sure last time that it wasn't true. And maybe that could have been true. Maybe they were talking about like how the cool section at the beginning of the 7th episode, I think, or whatever, Carol's all alone or something. Or maybe they were even talking about the Menounos stuff, because I think that was in the same episode. So maybe they were talking about that.
Yeah,
but I believe
it probably was that episode. Like, I'm sure they talked in that, but it felt less like, I don't know.
Well, she was singing to herself. And, yeah.
If you told me no one exchanged dialogue in that episode, I'd believe it, but I don't remember.
Maybe, but that doesn't seem that impressive or cool. So,
yeah.
That was false. I was waiting for it. I was thinking like, oh, at some point they're going to give her the silent treatment or something. And then she'll just be walking around, or she'll tell them not to speak anymore or something, and that'll happen. I was thinking that about episode 3, 4, or 5. But that never happened, Alitery. So is it worse when you know a spoiler that isn't true that you anticipate the whole time?
I don't know. Maybe. I feel like I've probably been in that situation.
Neither.
Maybe. But I don't remember.
I've got no insight.
Wonderful. Well,
so, Leadery, what do you think about the finale?
You know, I liked it quite a lot. It was good. And you?
Wow, what insight. How about you throw that? You ever played tennis, leader? You ever been on a date? You got to throw the question back at the other person.
What about
That's
you?
how this
What did you think of the
works.
finale, Kyle?
Me. I hate season 2, Alita. What the fuck's going on?
It is true. Well, there is definitely going to be season 2. I guess one thing I've done. Yeah, I looked it up too, and I listened to some of the podcast, a little bit of it. So I know some things, but it is true.
I watched her get her award at the Golden Globes.
Oh wow, I did not do that. But lovely.
I think I might have watched that before the show, but I might have forgotten.
Yeah.
But who knows? And I also see her on YouTube Shorts sometimes, so what a funny young lady. Now, you ever seen Zosha talking like a normal person, Alita? I have. Now,
as have I in the podcast, yeah.
Oh, my podcast, this cheat code. Yeah. Alita, this episode was okay, but it was very apparent pretty quickly that we weren't wrapping things up, so I was a little sour. But everything that happened was pretty okay. Cool.
I had a hope, actually, right until the end. I think the whole time I was like, okay, clearly it's going to be a thing where they can extend the story if they want to. But I did think the whole time that we were going to get like an ending where it's like, oh, whatever. Like if we continue it, whatever. If we don't, we don't. But they didn't. It is very clearly like, oh, we're going to do more next time. Yep.
Dragging it out on God, shaking my head.
No, I think now that we've seen the whole show, I can confidently say that it never felt dragged out to me at all. Like, I know you were saying the pacing thing. So I guess you said you were going to evaluate the pacing toward the end. So for me, pacing wasn't an issue whatsoever.
The moment isn't bad.
Yeah, what do you think now in totality?
I think the episode where we were introduced, like the episode where Menounos left at the end, I feel like everything that happened in the last 3 episodes, I expected to happen in the very next episode. And I don't know if that's a pacing complaint, because not really, but it's like a lack of quick progress complaint, which you could call pacing. I don't know. And I probably still care about it. I don't know.
What do you mean by everything that happened afterward? What are the highlights? Like, what are the things?
Well, I was almost certain we were gonna show up the next episode 5 minutes in, and he was gonna be at Carol's doorstep, and then they were gonna have their discussion, and then like she was gonna have to decide which side she was on. But instead, that happened over like the next 3 episodes.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right.
But other than that, there isn't too much revealed, right? It's just sort of a like. Carol definitely decides she's not on their side, despite falling for it for a little while. Falling for it maybe isn't the best phrase there. And we get some confirmation about the sound stuff, I guess.
Well, yeah, we definitely get confirmation about the radio wave stuff. Yeah, true. Good episode. But what? Okay, now...
They said, the thing I looked up a later, he said 2027 or 2028.
That's actually very surprising, because the reason, as far as I understand, this was delayed so much because of the writer's strike back in 2023.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because Breaking Bad was, like, annoyed by I don't know if it was the director's strike or whatever happened back then, so who knows. But, yeah. Anyway, we can talk about meta stuff, I guess, more throughout this, but we open this episode, Kyle, with... the scene, which it's interesting because we like flash forward. We go 71 days into the future.
True.
And then we go back, which is like an interesting thing because it was such an interesting thing that I sat there after it happened and I paused. I'm like, why are we doing this? And I think
it's like a thing where they're like not immediately going to solve it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the set expectations of like this isn't going to go very cleanly, and like there is throughout this whole episode when you're watching it, you're like, well. You know, they're at least 71 days in, she's going to be converted. It's going to be a thing.
But then for the last 10 minutes or so, we're past it.
It is. Yeah, we are, aren't we? Yeah, true.
Yeah, because they referenced that this young lady had just joined recently.
That is true, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Is there much to say? It was a cool set, like production-wise. It was really cool.
I read a whole article on this scene, Alita, about how it was the scariest scene anybody had ever seen and shows the evilness of the hive mind.
Wait, the scene where they're converting her?
Mm-hmm.
It was it is. It has a little, how do I say it? It does strike a nerve a little bit where it's like, man, they turned her and that's it. Like they're done. They're leaving. That goat is leaving. And that goat wants her, but that goat is staying behind. And they got better things to do now.
The goat could follow if it wasn't such an idiot.
Yeah, true.
But it's kind of the thing where they're playing with the betrayal of the hive mind, but never actually changing. Like it's not like new information. It's just like a portrayal of it. Because they were only living there because to make her comfortable or whatever. And now that they don't have to do that anymore, they are all going to move out of that place because it's like a little village, and that's not a very effective use of resources or people or anything.
Yeah.
But the conciseness, the quickness in which it happens is sad. And that article I was reading was saying, man, this really destroys all of the beautiful human cultures.
It is true. I think that is the point of the scene. And I think it's very well executed. I do agree with you. It is, by the end of this, now that we've seen it, now, firstly, they could be like, I think they said they've had a plan for 4 seasons or something, so obviously a lot can happen, but that's my understanding. But as of right now,
it gets worse.
Yeah, as of right now, what you were saying about how it seems that the hive mind they're not changed, they're not lying, they are truly themselves the whole time, and all that we are seeing is different perspectives of them. We see them through Carol, we see them through Menounos, and now we see them through this like little village, I guess, or this one survivor here. Or more so the village than the survivor. Because
perspectives, really.
Well, that's what you were saying, like, where you're like, the hive mind isn't changing. It's not like they're acting differently around different people or anything like that, but the way they're portrayed is different. They're directed differently.
Yeah, it's like, it's portrayal, but not perspective. It's like, because it's, in like a sillier show, like when we're supposed to be freaked out by them, like maybe they do a creepy smile or something that's like silly and is breaking character, but it's just to portray how you're supposed to feel in the moment. Like the show never does that, but it's kind of doing that in the way, because it's all about, it's a curated image, leader. Did you know? And you can curate very normal things to seem creepy if you edit them in a certain way or position them in a certain way or something. So that's like portrayal, but not perspective. Though they are different depending on the perspective.
I don't know. How could you separate
them? That's
not
what's going on here. Well, I would say perspective-wise, like the way the sexy Playboy man, his perspective on them would be different to Carol, but that's like not, because they're not acting different. It's just.
Well, I think we might be talking about different things then. Because you're saying you're talking about character perspective. I'm talking about audience perspective. Because I wasn't talking about the perspective of the girl at the end. I'm talking about our perspective watching the village after she is gone. And that's portrayed, like, that's a very interesting way of portraying it. Like it goes silent and, we just see them quietly do their things. Like there could have been different ways to do it. Like you could have had a zoom in shot of their face and like they smile or something and they're like, oh, and they like pat her head or something.
Pack up and leave.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's not a character thing, it's an audience perspective thing, which is how you portray something. Similar to how, well, I guess I was going to say the Menounos scene when he wakes up in the hospital, but that is an audience thing as well, but it is also a character thing because that's how he's seeing them. But it's an audience thing as well, because before we even see the face from Menounos' perspective, we see the blood dropping on the ground, which sets the tone of the scene and sets the perspective on the hive mind. So I think I stand by like character, maybe not character perspective, but audience perspective is certainly shifting. Based on how they portray it. So yeah.
See, I still don't know. Like, I think it's situational where it's like my perspective on them isn't changed in the whole. It's just like a realization that this is also. But if you have a different realization, does that mean you have a change in perspective, Illyri?
Maybe.
True. Whatever. It's a perspective or a portrayal or another P word, Illyri. Think of a P word.
Yes.
Pontification.
It is something.
Preposterous.
But it is to me, I don't know if you agree, to me this is one of the interesting aspects of it. Like I do appreciate, more so it is the divide between how, like I talked about it before, it is the divide in how Menounos sees the hive mind because of the way they're portrayed, right? And the way that we see them through Carol, right? Like I like these two things. It is very different. We as the audience, like despite the two characters, we see them kind of portrayed differently. And it is like it's a cool thing, I think. When I feel like we probably have a better understanding than either of those characters, right? Like I feel like we understand them in that they probably just genuinely are what they are, and they're not probably malicious or whatever, like Menounos probably sees, and they're probably not like, at all loving in the way that Carol thinks they are. And we see them that way. Like when they're around the other two people, they're portrayed differently. I don't know, I like it. It's cool. It's a thing I don't see that much, and it was well done here, I think.
But they've got a biological imperative, and now isn't that upsetting?
That is true. But it's who they are,
And they're so conscious of their biological imperative. Who are we? We're the great heroes who are going to change them back. We're going to genocide them.
No, that's Menounos. That is his plan.
No, that's our plan.
True. Okay. Let's talk about their meeting, I guess. Menounos and Carol, they meet each other.
They were just button heads, Leader. Can you believe it?
Well, before any of this, he gets out of the car and he tucks his shirt in, he straightens his hair, and I'm like, oh my god, Menounos is trying to make a good impression so that it doesn't go off badly. He's trying a little bit. I thought that was very funny.
Or maybe he was just nervous, and that's his nervous tick.
Yeah, true, yeah. Good point. But yeah, it's very confrontational. For some reason, I guess I just wasn't expecting it to be this confrontational. What were you thinking? Were you thinking it would be like this?
Didn't I say this last time? They're gonna have a little fight.
Yeah, but no. I mean, maybe you did say that. I was expecting the fight would be over their, like, hive mind interactions, like the fact that Carol is willing to go along with them. But the fight was more like, even before any of that, it was just like, they just couldn't decide who to trust in terms of, like, do we go in the house or do we go in the ambulance? And from there, it was, like, already going off to the bad start, right? It was, like, interpersonal. Yeah, it was, like, less about, like, philosophical ideas.
But they already had a fight, remember? So, makes sense.
That is true, yeah. So it was interesting.
In 5 seasons, we'll look back on that first phone call and go, wow, that's when the great Menounos and Carol met each other.
That is so true. Which character do you prefer?
Or do you they're both kind of annoying, Elitari. What can I say? But I
really interesting. I would say I definitely find Carol annoying at times. Menounos, I don't think I've ever found annoying. What's like an annoying thing from him, you think?
He's being stupid, and nobody's getting in the ambulance, dummy. And there's no. They would have already. They're gonna. If they want to hear, they're gonna hear.
Yeah, that is actually a very good point. Or if they truly wanted to, they have all the like spy agencies around the world, like all the technology, all the like. They could absolutely hear what you're saying. They would find a way. But it is what it is. But it turns out they're using Google Translate. And we love that. That's fantastic.
Was that Google Translate?
Well, I mean, who knows if it's Google Translate, but that's the
like Google UI to me, All
right, you know what they're using? They're using a translation app with a text to speech thing. It was kind of crazy. Maybe they're using an AI. Maybe it's like ChatGPT or something. Oh my god! But very cool. Very practical.
I noticed you haven't put Pluribus on your media thread.
Yeah, I just forgot. I should do that after this.
I wanted to see which image you had. It would have informed me on certain things, but you know.
That is true. I need to do that. But okay.
True. Now, what were we talking about? They met each other, and then they separated. And then he was going to kill Zosha, Elitari. You definitely thought so, right?
It didn't. Not really. I don't think so. I think he did. There
was a music cue, and there was her car was there, and he had a machete that he was looking at. She was freaking dead. And Carol was going to have to confront the fact that they're not people, and they were going to have a big fight or something.
I don't know. The thought never really crossed my mind.
What, really?
Well, you mean in this initial interaction? I guess later it was possible.
No, I don't know what exactly happened. I watched this episode like 7 days ago, Leary. But there's like a dramatic music cue as she realizes the car's outside, or even before the car. When he calls
that point.
Says,
yes, I agree with you. Yeah, I thought you meant early on. I thought like maybe he was like carving them up to see what's inside them, or like to analyze them or something like that to see if they're still human. Yeah, I agree. I was probably thinking something like that.
Because it would have been a weird situation, because it's not like the hive mind, well, maybe they would have cared or something, but it's not like they'd think it was a big deal. But Carol would be freaking out, because obviously she's in love with the actual body. So it would be an interesting confrontation. But that didn't happen. Not yet.
Yeah. But what we did find out is that, at least to me, this was a surprise. Menounos is like way more extreme than I was expecting. Like you said, they're better off dying than like if they can't be fixed. And I was like, whoa, I guess, maybe, damn. Like he truly sees them as like possessed or something. Like it's like it's almost like a religious kind of thing. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is something that is wrong, like morally, and like therefore it should be eradicated. Like and there is no like there is no negotiating it with it. There is no like letting it live. It has to be gone. I'm like, wow, okay, damn.
He is an extreme individual. Remember, he was the only one that didn't even try to talk to them.
Yeah, that is true. And then he says, and I have a quote here: "Isn't it evil to value a man the same as an ant?"
True.
Yes, good point, Menounos. Good point.
I don't know if it's evil, but it's a little silly.
Yeah, true. How can anything truly be evil? Probably, but also probably not. Depends on your perspective, I would assume. Which is what the show is shaping, right? Throughout its directing choices.
Actually, Elitari, I think it depends on portrayal.
All right, anyway.
That was a good one.
What do you think of Menounos snapping his fingers at Carol and telling her to like get over here and
True.
stuff?
What a no good misogynist. We're gonna have to put this guy in his place.
Yep. No, it's because he like doesn't even see gender, and he's just sort of like helping her, like, or getting like
culturally, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've never been to Paraguay. I don't know anything about Paraguay actually.
Well, luckily, Elitari, in the 7 days since I've watched this episode, I went to Paraguay to do research to look this exact situation up, and they were all clicking at me.
I guess there we go. Problem solved.
You can't argue with that.
But don't worry, he changes his mind when Carol like snaps back at him, and he goes up to hit her and like and smiles and says please, and I'm like, oh, look at this.
But it was a mocking please.
It was definitely a mocking please, but it was great. It was very funny. I like their interactions.
And then they found a microphone or something.
Indeed. And did you think it was the hive mind? Because I certainly did.
No.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. I thought it was like this was the reveal, and it was like going to be the, oh my god, the perspective, we got to change everything now, that maybe they have been flying.
No reveals. No reveals.
True. Well, there was definitely a massive reveal, which is that it was Helen. Oh my god, she didn't trust her to not drink alcohol when she was trying to get her eggs harvested or whatever.
She was just trying to help her with her problem.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, you know, we hate Helen. But also we don't hate Helen.
No.
The point is that it's like, man, you know, maybe you can know too much about people. Like, there are things that are probably best if you just don't know them, and that's probably one of them. So
also, yeah. Carol is an alcoholic.
Yes, somewhat, I guess. Yep. Anyway, what other interactions do they have?
We've got the skip ahead, Alito. We're skipping to the radio.
That was when he screamed in that guy's face. It was both funny and awesome, and I was like, this is so cool. But it was very funny as well.
He did warn them.
He did, which is very cool, because it's like they can prepare so like people don't die. They could probably like prevent almost pretty much everyone from dying. Not everyone.
Well,
like there'd be people flying
planes
and stuff. Yeah. But even then, there's probably a good chance you could, if you're aware of it for a few seconds, you could probably increase your chances of surviving by like a large amount.
Do planes have autopilots, or is that just a thing in the movies?
You know, this is for someone other than me, but I'm fairly sure they are. But who knows?
Comment down below, guys. About nothing.
That's true. All my knowledge comes from ChatGPT. So what can I say?
It's a pretty easy question.
Yep. But I thought it was very cool when Carol was talking to Zosha, and then she just starts lying down, and it's like, Carol, something's about to happen. And I was like, oh, this is great. Look at her, she's so considerate.
And then she got a call from the lady who was very upset.
Oh my god, yeah. And then she told her, I don't know, she's like, basically said, fuck off. And I'm like, true, we hate this lady.
Actually, we didn't even hear her, right?
It's like, her. Who else would do it? It's her, that evil lady. My god.
Yeah.
I hate her. But yeah.
She's coming back in season 2. I can't wait for her redemption.
She will be. Yeah, that's gonna be a sad day. Man, imagine Menounos meeting like the French guy. Oh my god, that'd be funny. What would the interactions be like? They're like opposites. Oh my god. Anyway.
It might happen.
Yep. So Menounos, he tries to save Rick. He's like whispering in his ears, like, Rick, you're a good man. You know, you can come back, Rick. Please come back. It was good. It is interesting. Like, this is the way. Like, I could imagine this working. Like, it is a thing where it just didn't cross my mind how it would be possible to, like, bring them back with the technology that they're aware of. But if it is, like, something like that, where it's like you wipe them out with the yelling.
It's just scrambling the connection or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you, like, scramble it enough and you were able to whisper to him and get to his true self or something, and then you can bring him out of it. It didn't work at all, though. Like, there wasn't even a hint, like, visually, where it's like, oh, he's, like, finger twitched, or, like, he like, his eyebrow, like, it was nothing. It was just like, oh, I don't know if this is working at all. But
I wonder if they could only do, because this would be an interesting scene in season 2, episode 1 in 7 years, where they get it to work, and only as long as like the signal is above his head or something, and he comes back, and then we can get his individual impression of having been and now not been in the hive mind.
It is true. Now, okay, yeah, Menounos is studying like stuff, like he's studying science related stuff and waves. And
true, he was reading some books.
I feel like this is almost certainly going to lead to next season. Like him, I don't know if it'll be him, but probably Carol. I don't know if he's going to interact with the hive mind. Probably requesting to get like a Faraday cage, right? Like it is the next step. Like it would stop it. They wouldn't be able to get radio signals in or out. The thing is, they might deny her that. Like I don't know if they would give her the equipment to make one, or maybe they'd have to hide it from them that they're making it, because this is the next logical step. Yeah,
like a payoff would be them denying something eventually.
It is true, but maybe not. Like I don't know.
I don't know enough about this Faraday cage stuff.
Neither do I.
To know if it's even real.
You know what? I'm fairly sure it's real. I don't know anything about how you make it though. But
we already made it up.
I think the idea,
maybe it has to be.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say maybe it has to be in the basement of a massive building.
No, I think this is okay. Everyone listening right now who knows anything about this is gonna think I'm saying something incredibly dumb. Okay, and I probably am. So I think I've only mainly seen it in TV shows, but I think the idea makes sense to me, which is that you have to basically the goal is to block electromagnetic signal from coming inside the cage. And the way that you could do that, if my understanding is correct, is by having the metal cage be like electrified. So it has like an electric current running through it, and that would prevent maybe somehow the signal from getting through it. That'd be my guess, but I could just have absolutely no idea and be completely wrong.
You know, as a kid in Pokemon, I learned that rubber Is it conducts or doesn't conduct electricity?
Rubber is an insulator. It prevents electricity. But this is electromagnetic waves, not electricity.
No, Elitery. You just got to put a rubber over it and it'll work.
True.
Put them in a rubber ball.
I think more so you'd put him in a lead box, and that'd probably stop it. But even then, you need really thick lead, maybe. I don't know how radio signals... They can probably pass through anything. So, who knows? That's the answer here. Who knows? Faraday cage, who knows?
Elitery, we missed the greatest opportunity of all time for the greatest blind wave joke of all time.
How dare God keep signals from these men? I don't... What's the blind wave?
No. Or when he was calling for Rick to come back, what if he was calling for Shane to come back?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'd be something.
That would have been... That's an impossible thing. That wouldn't have happened. Pluribus would be over.
Yeah.
Do you think he reacted to Pluribus yet?
It's possible, maybe. I don't know.
What if there was a show where there was a character named Eric? Do you think we would get any little tidbits from Shane?
No, probably not. But when they get to the Rick scene in Blind Wave, are they going to reference Rick, you think? That's the real question.
They're going to giggle at him.
Yeah. All right.
That no good, Rick.
Were you as scared as me or startled as me when Carol shot the wall with the shotgun? And I was genuinely like,
True.
Oh my God. I did.
Guns.
Got me.
We can't be having guns.
Yeah. It wasn't the concept. It was just the loud noise and sudden explosion that I jumped in my skin or my seat or whatever the expression is. Yeah, it was crazy.
You're just a big P word.
Yeah, true. My only other thing I have about Menunos specifically is I was talking a little bit previously about how his perspective seems to be that of someone who is as part of like a hero like complex or whatever, where he seems to want to save people,
My name is Menunos. I am here to save the world.
Now there's two things that have been added on in this episode that I'm not sure which way they push it. Well, I guess I know which way each of them push it, but together they go in different directions. One is that there is the whole element we talked about, how he is willing to kill everyone if it's like the way to save them, right? Like he doesn't think that it's best that they exist like this forever. It's not better than dying, so dying is actually preferable. But the other thing he says is that he has a line. Now, maybe he spoke in an accent and I miswrote it or something, but I'm fairly sure he said to Carol, do you want to save the world or get the girl? Do you remember this? He definitely said this? Okay, so this is like a very like movie line where it feels like this portrays...
usually you get the girl and you save the world, Elitery.
Exactly. I would say it's definitely a movie line. Like this is a thing I've heard of before, but it does feed into the idea that he sees this as like he's like a hero in his story. And it's just it's like a subtle line where I'm like, oh, you know, this guy, like it ties in with what I was getting early, the vibes, and it reads into my reading here. So I guess I'll take it.
What happens when they send him a pretty girl?
Yeah, true. Probably nothing. He probably wouldn't care. This is Menunos we're talking about. He got stabbed in the back by a tree that I'm still not sure if is real or not, but I will find out one day. And he
Don't worry, the video will go up soon, Elitery.
Yep.
Well, not that soon.
Very soon, though. Soon enough. Menunos. I'm looking forward to him next season. I want more. Now that they're together, it's going to be lovely. Great back and forths. All right. Now, anything you want to say about Carol, our main character?
No, I have one more note we haven't gone over. Well, actually, I just said she's holding a lamb. And then my other note is the eggs with 2 exclamation marks.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, let's talk about it. It's a crazy... Did you expect this? I didn't expect this.
No, but I felt like a big dummy for not realizing it sooner.
Well, it's very funny because I had like... Here's what I was going... My mind was at, okay, when I was watching this scene. Where Carol's like... Basically, the scene was like a progression of like her slowly realizing that there probably is a way to like get the stem cells back, but they didn't say it until the end. So when they implied that, the thought crossed my mind and I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. They can use her DNA and clone her because like her hair would like fall out and they can literally clone her and then like get the stem cells from the clone. And then they said the eggs. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. That makes way more sense. So, you know, I had that.
Cloning's not real, Alita. You don't be ridiculous.
True. But it is true. It's like the ultimate violation of trust. And like she will probably almost certainly never trust them again. And I buy it. Like it is, you know, it's crazy. So good for them.
I mean, it's not like they lied.
No, but like Carol would obviously not be happy with this. And Carol would think that Carol even, she said it. She said like, what was I wrote it somewhere. She said, if you loved me, you wouldn't do this. Like these are like words you say when you're never going to speak to this person again. Like she's not, I don't think she's ever going to be okay with this.
They're going to be speaking like in episode 1.
I think the next time, I think if they ever speak again, I mean, they will speak again, but if they ever are like interacting again, I don't think Carol by the end of the show is ever going to be okay with the hive mind, interpersonally. Like, I don't think that's possible after like this breach of trust here, but we'll see.
Unless that's the resolution.
Well, yeah, I could imagine maybe right at the end of the show, like the last episode or something like that. But beyond that, I don't think it's ever going to be a positive thing based on what happened here. Like, how can you trust? I don't know. It feels weird. How can you trust them to not do stuff like this when it is their biological
They shouldn't have trusted them in the first place, you silly lady. They told you they were going to try everything.
Yeah, I think that's the point. So yeah, true. Crazy eggs. But there is actual character stuff here from Carol a little bit, which is that like she gets upset because the hive mind is going and spending time with Menounos and telling them everything about her, and she says that she loves both of them equally. Jealous. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, true. Her girlfriend didn't have any tact, Elitery. She was just going around telling everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Carol is trying to delude herself, but she's a fool because the hive mind loves all of them.
Yes, she loves everybody equally. She wants a poly relationship, Elitery.
Yeah. I had another minor point, which was about the cycle of like gaining the trust of people, like what the hive mind kind of does, or the way it's portrayed, I guess, more so. Because in that there was like a scene it was in the episode where Carol goes to Las Vegas and speaks to French guy, who I've learned is actually not French, I don't think. I think they said he was from somewhere else on the podcast or something, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because they got colonized by the French leader. I already told you.
Sorry, I'll call him the French-speaking man going forward, but in that scene...
That's like calling you the British man, Elitery. You'd be very offended.
I don't speak British. What do you mean? I speak English.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
But, what's the difference?
Well, one is... I don't actually know, but I would imagine British is like a history of like I don't know enough about any of it. I don't know anything about history.
But it's making an assumption based off the language in which you speak.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, that French speaking guy, French man, he says he has this phone call where he's talking to the hive mind, and he says, but she's so lonely or whatever. And the implication is that he is like has a special connection with the hive mind that they have like fostered, and it's taking him away or trying to take him away from like other people. And a similar thing happens here to show that Carol has gotten to that point where she calls the hive mind, and at the end of the call, she's like, I'll call you later or whatever. And it's like, oh, it's like a little thing where it's like, it's that ongoing relationship that they have now, even if it is like long distance or whatever, like on the phone, but they like want to, Carol has been won over in the same way that French guy had been won over. And I like the way they showed that here. It was very cool. So yeah.
Because they have interpersonal little thingies going on.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else? I just have miscellaneous stuff and podcast notes.
I just have shitty season 2 written down.
True. But my God, I hope we're still alive. And
is she going to do anything with this atom bomb? Or was that just a gag?
Well, okay. So my guess would be, my guess was when I watched it, that it's just a gag. And it like is the nice, what do you call it? The nice circular wrap up or whatever when you like reference the beginning or whatever. Yeah, that's a much better word. Thank you. It's the payoff to the setup from DHL guy back in episode 3 or whatever. But then I went to the Wikipedia page when I was reading up about like production stuff, and there's two things that were like said, and they were both seemed very contradictory, but like it kind of makes sense with like stuff I know about Breaking Bad. But apparently the atom bomb. Now, just to clarify, this is based on Wikipedia, so I haven't read the actual original sourcing, so this is just what's on Wikipedia, everyone. But the atom bomb at the end was not in the original script, and it was like suggested by Apple executives and like the people behind it, like the executives basically. And then Vince Gilligan was like, "Oh, you know what? That's actually a good idea, and we can like adopt it." And apparently, it's like it's going to be a payoff that'll eventually be. It's like a thing. It's not like a gag. It's like an actual story element. It's going to be like a thing one day. Which is interesting.
Unless he changes his mind.
Of course, that's the other thing. Unless he changes his mind, like for instance, Breaking Bad was very differently. There was no grand plan for Breaking Bad, and we got a very nice, coherent story in that one. So anything could happen. Who knows?
And George thought it was going to be 3 books, and Arya and Jon Snow were going to kiss.
And he thinks it'll end one day. So who knows?
I don't think he does, Elitery. I don't think he does.
Indeed. All right. I have one miscellaneous note, which is that. Oh my God, Menounos found like a Cheeto under her bed or something. That was crazy.
True, what a fat lady.
Yeah, how dare you not clean under your bed like that. But my other notes are just about the podcast, and I have 3 things. One of them we've already talked about, which is that... Oh, actually, we haven't talked about this, which is that from the get-go, there were 2 seasons ordered for this. So it's not like they had a one-and-done thing. It was I believe it was a 2-season order. But at least I could be wrong. That's, I think, what Wikipedia said. The other thing is that they built the ice hotel.
Shows me doing that, Elitery.
The ice hotel is not real.
Shitty Dunk and Egg did that too.
Huh?
Shitty Dunk and Egg had 2 seasons.
Well, that's a book. They know how much is happening in that. This one is like a story, which is original.
It doesn't matter. It's shitty.
True. But yeah, they built the ice hotel. Kind of crazy. Oh my god.
The what hotel?
The ice hotel in like episode 3 or something. The hotel that you were like, I don't know. This might be real.
No, it's a real place. It's a real place.
It was a set. They built it. It's kind of crazy.
So the tree is fake too?
I haven't got up to the tree yet. They haven't talked about it. But there is something else that is fake. Can you tell? Because this blew my mind, but maybe it was obvious to you, but I couldn't believe it.
Something that's fake.
Yeah.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Like just the whole place?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's a real place. But no, the Carol's entire like little neighborhood is fake. Like they built it. They went to a desert and they literally built the entire street.
It is like a circle. I did have a thought of that just then.
Wait, a circle? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A cul-de-sac. That's like a common like
cul-de-sac. I'm sorry, Elitery. I don't know all these fancy schmancy words. But true, it doesn't look like there's much going on like around.
Yeah, exactly.
But it could just be a neighborhood they filmed in or something. But
yep, kind of crazy. They just built the whole thing, and the logic is that like
on that one place.
Well, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's kind of cool. But that's all my little trivia from the podcast. I haven't really got that much deeper into it yet, but oh my god.
It's immoral to watch things like that, and you're doing a great disgrace to yourself and the world.
No, I get great insights. And every now and then, Vince Gilligan will say something where he'll be like, you know, we were trying to do this. I hope people don't take it the other way. And I think there was a point where I was like, oh man, I was one of those people. I took it the other way. That's very funny. So yeah, I don't know what that was, but
sometimes these creators, they're just a little retarded, Elitery. They don't know what's going on.
That's definitely true. But I don't know what have you ever listened to one of these like things, like these behind the scenes? I feel like my understanding is I've never seen something like this. It is like unbelievably like candid and grounded, and it's like it's weird, like in a cool way.
Like the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast. It feels like I'm just like listening to people. Like it's like if I made a YouTube video and I was streaming, like talking about the YouTube video I made or something. Like it's very like it's not like they're trying to hide things or like trying to be so respectful of the art or whatever. Like they just like say like, oh, you know, I was trying this and we thought this, and like it's interesting. I don't know. It's very candid. Maybe like I don't watch any like movie commentaries or whatever where the director like talks about a movie. Maybe it's like that. I don't know. I've never watched one of those, but that'd be my guess. Something similar to that.
Well, those are always boring. They're always just like, yeah, you remember this day and Sally was sick, and that was pretty funny, bro.
I mean, they talk about that stuff like that in the podcast too, but I don't know. It's interesting.
I mean, this the closest thing would probably be like sometimes wrestlers will have big matches and then we'll do like podcasts the next day explaining everything. That's kind of similar. But most of the behind the scenes stuff I watch is like interviews, but it's usually interviews from like years later. Like there's that one like TV archive website that has like 8-hour interviews with the Madman guy about like everything, and that's kind of interesting. But even then, it's like it's never specific details because it's like years after the fact or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Well,
so it's a little different.
Like one thing I remembered in this podcast is first they talk about like getting like, you know, in the first episode, there were the suits that were like pressurized or whatever, like there was air in them because they're in the lab, like when they're working with the rats or rabbits or whatever it was. They're talking about how they had to like find them and they were like super expensive, but then because they're actual suits, they have to like get the team to actually pump air into them so the actors can like breathe and stuff. And they were talking about how initially like it wasn't in the script at all that they were going to have 2 people. It was going to be 1 person, but then they like spoke to, I don't know who, I think it was like one of the writers or something, but they were like talking about how in real life the protocol is to have 2 people, and then Vince was like, you know, creative liberty, we can just do it. But then he's like, you know what, every time that I've like listened to people telling me to make things more realistic, people tend to like that and it tends to work out, so I'm gonna do this. And he like changed the whole thing, and I'm like, whoa, it's just so cool. Just hearing random stuff like that about like changes they made,
the creative process.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like so because the final product seems like it was always the plan, but like they talk so much about how like this just came together miraculously, and it was like this wasn't the plan, and somehow we didn't. It all came together, and it produced a good thing. And I'm like, this is really interesting.
Most of these interviews like that do end up being like I don't know how it worked, but it did work, which is that's fun. But I always think that with YouTube videos, like I put a song in the background and it like fits like perfectly. Like there's a pause in the song at this dramatic moment. You're like, oh, I'm a fucking genius. I didn't even try.
Yep.
Sometimes shit just falls together like that. My goodness.
Yes, the dominoes fall in line or whatever. That's the phrase, right? I don't know. All right. Well,
no, that's not the phrase, but we understand, Elite 8.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you for listening. Leave a comment. I hope you listen to every single one of these 9 episodes. What are we doing next?
Which great TV series to do next?
Yeah, exactly. What a good idea. We don't have any plan
Should
yet.
we just do the obvious Severance?
That is probably true. I don't know. Somehow I don't know anything about Severance. So I'm excited. I know people say it's really good. It is also on Apple TV, is my understanding.
I feel like I know vague things. I'll tell Elite all of them. He'll like that.
No, I would not like that. It would be good to do Severance, so I could finally just be not afraid of spoilers anymore. That would be good.
Another thing I was thinking is you're doing like 3 episodes every 2 weeks of what do you call it? That silly orb show, Elite.
True.
I don't know. We could put Monster in this slot or something and do like 6 episodes every week or something like that. Maybe that's too much. True. Maybe we do 5 or something. It's only got 70 episodes. We get through it in like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
Or Revolutionary Girl Utena. These are things.
Now that's a plan. Oh my god, Utena, what a show.
I would be excited to do all 3 of those.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out. So yeah, guys, please. Actually, this is an important thing. If you're listening right now, I would actually appreciate feedback, okay? If you have any feedback on how we can improve these discussions, like if you don't like the recap at the beginning, if you think we talk too much about like specific things and not generally about like broader things, if you, I don't know, things like that, tell me what you think, okay? Because no one ever tells me. I don't know how to improve these things, so you gotta let me know, okay? So if you're listening right now, please.
And whatever you say, I won't listen.
That is definitely true. He will not listen, but I will, okay?
I might. You never know. It could be something smart, but probably not. You ever seen comments, Elite?
Not on this series. Actually, we've got like a few, right? I think.
True.
Yeah.
Should we do 2 episodes instead of 1? That's a good question, Elite.
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys think about the weekly, not weekly, I guess bi-weekly, like 2 episode a week thing? Like, what do you think, you know? Anyway.
It did kind of suck that we got sucked into this show and we had to do it for like 7 days straight. That was also a good thing.
I guess just reflecting on it, I have appreciated or liked the 1 episode thing. It is a fun thing to like watch an episode and then talk about it. I think it is good. I think it only works because maybe we were watching it so quickly. I don't know how it would be if it was a weekly wait.
But also I think bumping it up to 2 wouldn't really like hurt it too much.
That is probably true as well. Maybe for a short show like this though, I don't know.
Yeah, well I think Severance is I actually have no idea how many episodes, but I don't imagine it was more than 10.
Why it doesn't have like 2 seasons or more, 3 seasons or something? Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see.
Number of Severance episodes.
Oh my god.
That guy died?
Well, I don't want spoilers. Oh my god. Okay.
9 and then 10 episodes.
Oh, easy. It's like Pluribus. We'll probably have 9 episodes next season too. But okay. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Apple TV Plus.
Yes,
the new place for all of the best shows, apparently.
Yeah, let me say, you know, I don't like Apple TV Plus. It's fine. I don't like the beginning when they give you a trailer for something, so you have to press skip, and then they give you the recaps, and you have to skip, and then they give you there's like something else as well, and you have to skip it. I don't like how they do that 3 times. It's not good.
I've never got any of that or a recap.
True. Well,
but if it's a HBO show, I'll watch the recap.
I don't watch recaps anymore ever since what happened with Game of Thrones that one time. So.
No all of the HBO ones are in that Game of Thrones style where they definitely bring up an element that spoils the episode slightly. So that's
I don't like that. But thank you, everyone. See you next time.